So everyone, I took two trades this morning. I'm going to break both of them down for you right now. All right, so both trades are in the same sector. I took ONDS and UMAC. Both are drone stocks. As you can see, UMAC gapped up much higher than ONDS did, but ONDS looks to be holding up better intraday, at least for now, than UMAC is. UMAC is up 46% right now. ONDS is up about 17% right now. I'm going to break down to you exactly how I entered, where I entered, and why I entered both of these names. Both of these names had catalyst this morning. There's been some overnight news about a deal with the Pentagon for drone stocks in the market in the United States. So obviously they had a great reaction to that. As you can see, UMAC, if we calculated pre-market, it was gapping up about 32.5%. And if we look at ONDS, was gapping up much less, about 6 or 7% if I'm not mistaken, 6.5%. I personally use the intraday chart, either 1 or 5 minute, depending on the entry, depending on the name for entries. But I have a full detailed, an hour-long video about exactly how I'm trading, about my full trading strategy and my full entry strategy in that case. So I'll put the link down in the description if you guys want to take a look into that. I'll break it down much faster today and much simpler. The main reasoning today is about explaining the entries rather than just showing you guys how I did it. So I was seeing these names pre-market, they were gapping up, and this one I was obviously looking at it right with the market open. I put an alert at the high of the first 1 minute opening candle, right? The first 1 minute opening candle is right here. So as soon as the stock took above that 1 minute candle high, I entered the position. Now, I know that this is my entry and my stop loss is always at the low of the day. So my stop loss was all the way down here, and it still is, by the way. And now, before that even confirmed, as you can see, it confirmed. It took that first 1 minute candle high on the third minute at 9:32, and between 9:32 and 9:33 on the third 1 minute candle. I already had prepared my position sizing calculator. I knew exactly how many shares I could buy right when it confirmed, because I had prepared that before it even confirmed. Worst case scenario, it never would have confirmed, and I just had lost maybe 30 seconds to prepare that for that position. It's really not a big deal, but if it does, you save so much time, and you have you basically can enter right when it does, instead of waiting for it and calculating, and it can just go higher a bit after. Because on these momentum positions, the more you wait, usually the less on the worst size you have. This size was not optimal. It was about 8% stop loss width for an 8.3% ADR name. So it still was under ADR, which is perfect. You want to have your stop loss width under the ADR. That way you have better sizing, and you can actually look at how you entered these positions. But this one was slightly under that, which is not bad, but still it was pretty wide in general. 8% is not that thin, so the sizing was not optimal. Now this one, I only risked 1/4% of my account into this, right? I only risked 1/4% of my account into this because it was gapping up so high. The higher the stock gap, the lower the probability of it not stopping you out goes. And it's actually pretty simple to understand why. Because when the stock gaps up that much, a lot of people will sell that position to realize some profits. So usually there's some good sells off during the day. Obviously, this one for now, it's holding up pretty well. There's been some good news, and look at the volume. Very high volume. You should always look at the volume. So as of right now, on that position, I am currently up to about 2.5% as of right now. Obviously, at some point it was up way more, about 6, maybe 7, or even 8% all the way up here. But as of right now, it obviously pulled back a bit intraday, and I'm up like 2.5%. Now, ONDS, this one I risk a bit more. It was a lot better looking. If you zoom out, this one is holding up much better. This one is much stronger overall. Look at the moving averages. Moving averages are very well oriented. They're very well positioned in general. Great higher lows. If you zoom out, look at how strong this is, and good lower highs. It's been a very good looking range. And look at the weekly chart as well. Very good looking weekly chart. So this one in general, as for my liking, was just much better looking. It was gapping up much less, but still being pretty decent, and still clearly breaking out of that range here, even of that weekly range. And this one, I traded it the exact same way. So I look at intraday right here, first 1 minute candle high. As you can see, it broke out at the exact same time. Now, even this one initially sold off like the first 1 minute candle, but the high was still here. Stop loss always goes at the low of the day before you enter. And then this was the entry. So again, I prepared my position before. I risk a 1/4% on UMAC, but I risk 0.5% on ONDS because it was better looking. The reason why I did not risk full percent on this it was because I didn't want to over risk in that same sector, right? Both of these names are in the same sector. So if you put, for example, 1% on both, 0.5% on both, whatever you want, your overall risk is in that sector. So if the sector reverses, well, both of these names likely will reverse together as well, and likely will stop you out together as well. Now, the sizing on this one was much better than UMAC. If you guys remember, UMAC was an 8% stop loss with. This one is about a 3.5% stop loss with. The sizing was, much better, and I doubled the risk. So my position on that, it's much bigger than UMAC. If I'm not mistaken, right now, UMAC takes about 3 to 4% of my account, which is very small, and then ONDS takes about 15 to 20% of my account, which is much larger, only because of the stop loss, and obviously I risk double what I risk in UMAC. But ONDS, you can see that this is holding up very well intraday. At some point, at peak, I was up above 10% if I'm not mistaken. Right now, I'm up about 8.5%, 8%. All right, guys, so just an update about an hour later. Both names are like at high of the day right now. UMAC is very close to 30 bucks. I mean, it touched 30 and then kind of bounced off of it. It's up 58% on the day. And then ONDS is up about 24% on the day. So both names at high of the day. Just wanted to give y'all an update. Let's keep going with the rest of the video. Another difference you can see is that this one, the volume is very high, but it's much lower than UMAC. Look at this volume on UMAC. Obviously, it goes for the much larger gap. A lot more people are trading this thing or just selling these things, like relatively to the average volume, even though ONDS, the volume is 125 million right now, while UMAC is about 25 million right now. So the volume overall on ONDS is much bigger, but relative to its average, right now it's not even twice the average daily volume. Obviously, it's still pretty early in the day. It's 11 a.m. Market's been open for an hour and a half, but UMAC right now, average volume is 5 million and current volume is 25 million. So it's around 5 times average daily volume. Both of these positions are very good trades in my opinion. Obviously, it's still very early. I'm a swing trader, so I'm not day trading these. I'm holding these for multiple days. Last time I traded ONDS was right here. It went up at peak, was about maybe 75% on that trade, with the good sizing as well. And UMAC, if I'm not mistaken, I did not trade this in a pretty long time, but overall, both of these names are valid. These are I think I have 7 open positions right now. My full positions are ARM. I traded this right here. I think I'm up like 45, almost 50% on that name. It's up 12% today. Rocket Lab, same thing. I traded that here. Currently, I'm up about 25% since entry. I'm trading MUU, but this is MU. I'm trailing using MU, but I'm personally in MUU, which is a 2x version of MU. Pretty much the exact same thing. It's just better for the buying power. I don't want to, if I would have had traded this year, I would have used much more cash in my account for pretty much the exact same return. So I traded the MUU because of the buying power. But right now, this is my largest position. I'm up about 30%. I traded it initially about here, first entry. I traded this entire move, and then I added to my position here when it broke out again. And then I added more when it clearly had broken out here. So it was overall 3 entries. I really like adding to these strong positions. This was one of my best trades this year. Same for SNDK. So I traded this all the way up here to that move. And then I added to that position when it broke out again here. And this one I did not add more here because I decided to add to MU because it was gapping up more. This was a 20% day, almost 19% day, while SNDK had a 7.5% day, which is, around ADR, while MU was like 3 times ADR. So this was clearly stronger on that given day. So this is why I decided to add to MU instead of SNDK. I also have Wolf that I added here. This one's looking pretty good. I'm up like 5.5%, 6% maybe on that position. And then my other 2 positions are UMAC and ONDS, which I just broke down to you guys. So these are my full positions. Every single one of them is green. I took all of these trades live in the Discord. I sent out the alert in real time. Entries, exits, when you take profit as well. The link will be in the description if you want to copy my trades, basically. The link to my full strategy is also going to be in the description, so you guys can literally learn how I trade and trade like me for completely free. That being said, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.